Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum and peace and greetings to anyone who may be chancing upon this video. In this video, I'm just going to share a few thoughts on the art scene in the West and what is considered as radical art in the West. Today, when I was walking out in the street, I saw adverts on the side of a vehicle advertising, I think it was an art gallery that was showing various kinds of radical modern art. And it was basically the usual names that were coming up. So there was Jean-Michel Basquiat, there was Andy Warhol, and a few others. But those two names I noticed the most, mainly because back in the 90s, when I was a bit younger, I remember Jean-Michel Basquiat. There was an exhibition about him in London, and that was my first time that I had come across his work. And he knew Andy Warhol they knew each other at Andy Warhol's studio. And as it is known, Andy Warhol is considered to be very avant-garde, and he made a lot of commentaries in his art about modern culture. And he's famous for saying that in the future, everybody will be famous for 5 minutes. But I just find it strange that when it comes to talking about art in the UK, and let's just say London, it always seems to be the same people that are being spoken about. And after a while, when the same people continue to be spoken about, it stops being radical and it starts to become part of the establishment's canon of what it considers as radical art. So that makes me start to think that it's actually not radical at all. Damien Hirst was another one. It's actually not radical at all when you have this fixed set of names that keeps coming up, that is trying to inform people of what art is, what radical art is, and who they should be aware of. But it continues to be this narrow, select number of artists. Then that makes me think that, again, it's being curated. And these are the same thoughts that I have as I had when I went into a bookshop a few months ago, and I have loaded up a video on my channel about my trip to the bookshop, where once again, you go into a bookshop and it's always the same names that come up. And that again makes me think that either there has been kind of careful selection and filtering of what is forming the radical canon in literature and art, or else it isn't radical. It isn't radical at a grassroots level. And then you start to look at these artists who are meant to be radical, and you stop seeing them as radical. They're not radical. They have been curated to formulate a kind of culture that people are going to sign up to. So these are just a few of my thoughts on British society's idea of the art world and modern radical art. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.